Welcome back, focused learners. Let's dive right in. Today on The Explainer, we're getting into something absolutely massive, a profound exploration of human potential and the true nature of work. We're going to unpack some truly transformative ideas pulled straight from the philosophy of achievement. And I promise you, it's a real game changer. So, I've got to ask you directly, how do you actually view your 9 to 5? Most of us, we just default to seeing our jobs as a sheer necessity, right? A simple transaction of time for money so we can pay the bills. But I want to challenge you to look at it through a completely different lens today. What if your daily labor is actually the ultimate training ground for your own character? Here's the roadmap for today. First, we'll hit the philosophy of work. Number 2 is the engine of self-discipline. 3, we'll look at the power of internal motivation. And finally, number 4, some practical steps to excellence. All right, section 1, the philosophy of work, beyond the paycheck. I absolutely love this historical perspective. Medieval philosophers basically argued that work has a dual mission. Yeah, sure, you're producing a good or a service, but simultaneously, you are producing you. Labor isn't just about output, it's an objective process that forces us to forget ourselves. When we focus deeply on producing a high-quality result, we are actually shaping our own humanity and our own character in the process. And that leads us straight into self-actualization. Drawing on Maslow's hierarchy, our sources point out that true happiness actually comes from doing something worthwhile and constantly stretching beyond your past limits. It's that incredible feeling that you are becoming everything you're fundamentally capable of becoming. And, you just can't reach that state without putting in the gritty effort. Moving on to section 2, the engine of self-discipline, forging your character. Look, our default human mechanism is just to seek the path of least resistance. We inherently look for those easy shortcuts and immediate gratification. But lasting success? That demands self-mastery. It requires delayed gratification and what sociologists call a long-time perspective. You literally have to conquer that natural urge to do what is fun and easy, and instead firmly commit to doing what's hard and necessary. And choosing that harder path, it really matters. As Aristotle wrote, the ultimate end of life is the development of character. Choosing the harder path consistently doesn't just get the job done at the office. It actually elevates our self-esteem, builds our self-respect, and aligns perfectly with this ancient wisdom on personal excellence. A lot of our modern understanding of this comes from a brilliant realization I found in Brian Tracy's book, No Excuses: The Power of Self-Discipline. It's one of our main sources today. In it, Tracy provides this fantastic metaphor about how self-discipline actually changes who we are at a fundamental level. He uses this incredible chemistry lab metaphor, and don't worry, no safety goggles needed today. Basically, think of your personality right now as this soft, kind of formless liquid in a petri dish. Self-discipline is the intense heat of a Bunsen burner. As you apply that heat, as you force yourself to do the hard work, your personality crystallizes and hardens into a stronger, resolute character. And just like those chemicals, once you're crystallized, you can't revert to that softer state. You have permanently evolved. Okay, section 3, the power of internal motivation, the true fuel. So there's this clear divide between what pushes us and what pulls us. Extrinsic motivators, things like financial bonuses and fancy titles, they're great, sure, but they're entirely external. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's personal satisfaction, a deep interest in the task itself, and the desire for self-improvement. While both matter, for sure, they yield very, very different long-term results in your career. Our sources highlight that this internal drive is what truly makes us resilient. Why? Well, because unlike an external bonus, intrinsic motivation doesn't just vanish the second you hit a roadblock or experience a failure. Instead, it actually turns those failures into data points for learning. It fuels continuous improvement and is really the only reliable driver of genuine, lasting happiness in your work life. All right, let's get tactical with section 4, practical steps to excellence, actionable habits. It all starts with the numbers, 80-20, the famous Pareto principle. Literally 80% of the value of what you accomplish is going to come from just 20% of the things you do. To crystallize your character and actually advance in your work, you have to ruthlessly prioritize that top 20%. And just ignore the low-value distractions that honestly don't matter. Then there's the number 25. This is the Pomodoro technique. If you want to finally escape that trap of procrastination, set a timer for 25 minutes of deep, uninterrupted focus. No phone, no extra browser tabs, no distractions. Just you and the work, training your brain to enter a state of deep focus. Now, combine that with a rapid-fire checklist of 3 specific time management strategies. Step 1, the 2-minute rule. If it takes under 2 minutes, just do it immediately. Step 2 is the ABCDE method. You organize tasks by real-world consequences, not just what feels urgent. And step 3, the law of 3. Focus entirely on the 3 tasks giving you the absolute greatest value. When you prioritize and actually complete these major tasks, you trigger a biological endorphin rush in your brain. You literally feel like a winner crossing a finish line. Which brings us to this incredibly powerful concluding thought from Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what you do today. Everything we've been talking about, from achieving self-actualization to the crystallization of your character, is directly tied to the gritty, daily habits you choose to practice right now, today. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Take a hard look at your own